That was awesome. I have an acknowledgement that I just have to do. Lori, will you come up here, please? I'd like you to be on the right side of me because I love it. This woman here is an amazing force of nature. I just want you to know that. If any of you haven't seen In the Heights, it's a Cabrillo College play. She's one of the main characters. She's amazingly talented in so many ways. She's gifted in the pioneering of spirituality as a Sufi Shirag, a minister. She's so talented in acting and singing. Do you know that she practices, does a play, and then comes and shows here in the morning, weekend after weekend, of a grueling routine to be with us today? That is not only amazing, but it deserves a standing ovation. I am telling you. The amount of energy that she has is amazing, but she loves us so much that she shows up not feeling well, working her butt off, but coming here to share her gift of music and love. And I just want to say thank you for everything. And I want to say, I asked her on Friday to do a song for me, and she goes, oh, well, I'm a little busy. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot. And I was like, oh, my goodness. So I went to see In the Heights, and there was a couple from Denmark. And when I saw her there, I didn't even know she was in it because I'm out of it. And I said, oh, my goodness, my friends go, there's Lori. And she said, your friend has a new fan. My husband and I were going to follow her anywhere. And I just want to say thank you for that song, You Are the Face of God, at the last minute. Amazing spirit. Thank you for your gifts. I love you. Woo! So, this morning, and good morning, everyone. That songs make me cry. I'm like, oh. This morning, the title is the Unstatus Quo. Whew. An unstatus quo. I'm going to first start with status quo from the Webster's Dictionary. It is Latin for existing state of affairs, the current situation, the state of things, whether it be political, social, or economical systems. And it is seen as the standard accepted way of doing things. And we say un before the status quo. It is an opening up a dimension when we say unstatus quo, because it is the parallel or the opposite. The unstatus quo is change, evolution, revolution, reformation, progression, and evolvement. And at the risk of everything, that's what possibility and change means, doesn't it? So I'm happy to have this one today. I was watching one of my favorite people, Sadhguru. If you haven't or don't know who he is, he's a wonderful mystic in the world today. And Sadhguru's quote is, if you have a global identity, you will function for everyone's well-being. You will not act out of individual ambition, but out of a larger vision for everything. That's amazing. So, what I'd like to do right now is for us to open a different dimension together. I always like to start out with having an intention, your individual intention of what you want to take away from today. We have some amazing music, and the message in the music Whew, it's powerful. And we have someone speaking, someone praying, Sky, someone holding the prayers. So there's so much energy here for you to walk away with something that is in your heart that is calling you to manifest, whatever that may be. So let us take some breaths together and think about what you want to walk away with this week, today, in this moment. And I found that what Lori said was so relevant because I too was reading the Dalai Lama this morning and talking about a revolution of compassion. And we are only guaranteed the very breath we have in this moment. That is the only guarantee we have. This present moment and this present breath. So together, let's breathe in some things we want and release the things we wish to let go of. Take just a few minutes if I invite you to do this with me. So let's just start by breathing in and release. Breathe in love. Release your anger. Breathe in compassion. Release your judgment. Breathe in possibility. Release more judgment. Breathe in that vision of a world that works for all life. Breathe out that idea that it's not true. One more breath for life and release it to the universe. Thank you. So this week I had a really interesting conversation with a very close friend of mine who's Methodist, and we have great talks about spirituality. And I belong to a parent group. And this parent group for the last 25, 30 years that I've belonged to is parents with young adults with disabilities. And in this group, there was parents who had started it from 1964, before the Brown versus the Board of Education in 1974, that inclusion for people with disabilities. Now, I'm calling this out because the unstatus quo of who our heroes are, in my vision, are different. My vision is when I see one of my kids who's physically deformed, but yet has cognitive abilities and understands exactly what's going on, has to walk out in the world with all these deformities and all this judgment every day of his life. He's my hero. We have so many thoughts that pass in our mind of judgment of one another. They're too fat, they're too skinny, they're too old, they're too young, they're too this, they're too that. And it's a waste of our breath. For if we had one breath left, what would be the call to your heart? And what would be the call that you would want to leave as a message of your existence on this planet? What would it be? Would it be one that your identity is so closed to your faith, your gender, your work, your political affiliation, your football team, your etc., etc. Without an expanded identity, we don't live in possibility. We have to know that identity is like the clothes I'm wearing today. They are made up of opinions and belief systems. Belief systems change as the sun comes up and the sun goes down. Beliefs are interchangeable. That is why, at one time, people thought the world was flat. It sure seemed that way, except nobody fell off. So then, we started exploring and expanding possibilities and looking at the stars and reaching them by defying gravity. We defied gravity. We defied the space-time continuum and defied gravity. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? That we can go to a star. Look at all the possibilities. And we play small. We play so small. And what happens when I play small? I get kicked in the butt. It comes back to me 1,000-fold, like even the good stuff. But in this moment, all our desires, all our ambitions, they're fine. But are they filled with inclusion? Are they filled with the desire and the hope that all people meet this? We are in this together. And I implore you to realize there's room for us all. Even the people that we don't agree with. Even the people that think very differently than us. However, if we hold on to the idea of possibility thinking, possibility action, and when the tongue in our mouth and the tongue in the shoe is going in the same direction, that's called alignment, right? It's called alignment. And I ask you, wow, what an opportunity. Not in the next hour, not in the next 10 minutes, not in the next minute, but in the next breath. You can shift your consciousness to something higher. A vision, not just a global vision, but a cosmic vision. We go to the stars. I mean, we're squabbling now. What happens when we meet other entities in the universe? How are we going to be? I think they're avoiding us personally. But till we get some more consciousness happening here, right? But in our belief systems, that will change. People die for their belief systems. And when people identify so strongly with something, they can't hear anything else. But their limited vision through that lens that said, I am this. And we know how powerful the word I am is, right? I am is powerful. What are you saying I am? What are you telling yourself that you are? And even more importantly, how do we hold otherness? And who do we see as heroes? Who do we see as people we want to, be like and walk in the world like? And I ask you this deep question. If in each breath we can shift our consciousness by changing the thought that we're holding for another thought, which will encourage us to have an action, which may encourage us to feel something different with each breath. If you run into something and it's an automatic reaction of anger, everyone says, breathe. It works. Because in that one moment, and it's the only moment we have, it's the only moment it's guaranteed, we can shift that. We can shift that moment to moment to moment. and again, I think about my son who walks out in the world, and it's not easy for him. And many times that gives me courage to think about all my woes and problems and how small I play sometimes. I play small. And that the world that you're waiting for is waiting for you. And the only way out is in. And that is our global responsibility. It is our cosmic responsibility. Sadhguru talks about a global possibility and a global identity that's inclusive. DEI, diversity, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we stand for. Because can you imagine what it'd be like if I told you there can only be one fruit you can eat for the rest of your life? The raspberry, the banana, the strawberry. No more. We'll just wipe everything else out. Everybody will be a banana. Diversity is the richness, the different body types, the different animals, the different flowers make a garden. Everything we see has diversity, and it expands in possibility. Isn't that amazing? I want to tell you that this one child came up to Sadhguru and said, with all the problems that, she was 9, and she says, with all the problems in the world, you know, we're all going to die anyway, so why should we have to learn anything? You know? This is from a 9-year-old who I thought, wow, that's kind of an existentialistic kind of point of view. Well, what are we here anyway for? And Sadhguru said, oh, so what did you have for breakfast? Did you have breakfast this morning? And I'm like, huh? What? What did you have for breakfast this morning? And she goes, a bagel? And he goes, a bagel? Do you look like that bagel? And she goes, no, I don't look like a bagel. He says, did you know that you are so full of possibility and splendor and wonder that you turned that bagel into a little girl this morning? And I thought, whoa. And he goes, think of all the possibilities that is within you, that lie within you, that you at 9 years old can turn a bagel into a little girl. And I thought, how brilliant was that, you know? And I thought, you know, everything we eat, touch, incorporate, turns into this and that. And then we create this and music and time and go to space, go to the beach. Isn't that pretty amazing that our bodies? And so he said, he held up a bagel and he said, am I the source of turning this bagel into the little girl? No, you are the source. That means God is right here. And all possibilities are not out here, they're in here. And in order to awaken your heart and your mind, you must take each breath with recognition and awakening to your next possibility. Thank you.